Hi, welcome to this Business Coach Kit training session. The workshop program is a valuable additional product for your business. This session explains how to run the program. At the end of this coaching session, we'll have covered the components of the workshop system and how to set up and run your workshop program. Actually, running an individual workshop is covered in a different training session. So why run a workshop program? Some prospects, particularly when you're starting out with your coaching business and you may be working or dealing with smaller prospects, they may feel that they're too small for full one-to-one coaching. And having got them to the point of sale, you may find that you're able to sell them a workshop program, which is a more affordable alternative. I mean, typically it'll be a fifth or sixth of the price for just basic workshops. Some clients actually prefer to learn in a group. It's a different experience. They get less personal attention, obviously, but there's a lot of learning that goes on between the members of the group. And finally, when you're starting out coaching, actually running a workshop program is a really effective way to build confidence, reputation, get familiar with the materials, and get some early wins under your belt. So what's in the workshop system? There are 30 plus workshops. Each workshop is in one of these business areas. So we cover direction, so strategy. We cover planning, marketing, sales, employees, finance, operations, and of course we cover systemization and resilience. The workshop system, each workshop comprises of these things. There's a slide deck, so sufficient slides to run a half-day workshop, although not all of the workshop is the slides. There's a surgery as well, so typically 15-20 slides. There'll be between 3 and 6 exercises relating to the slides, relating to the topic, complete with answers. So a key part of the learning for attendees at the workshop is actually doing these exercises, getting hands-on with their business, with the topic that you're presenting. There's a full lesson plan for you, not for the attendee. So this tells you how to run the lesson, what the timings are, when to run the exercises, when to refer to a whiteboard for contributions from the attendees. So there's also an admin pack that provides tools for you to run the workshops and help the attendees. When people are attending workshops, it's very easy for them to generate dozens and dozens of actions and to get very enthusiastic, but you need to give it a context. You need to give them something that they're working towards. So this strategic planner is based on a balanced scorecard. It's a really nice way for them to work out early on, in fact, before the workshops start, what they're trying to achieve in their business, what things need to happen for that to take place. And it allows them then to set some objectives for working with you in a workshop program. Then each month when you run the workshop, if they generally want them to take some actions away, 1 or 2 actions away, they can relate those to their strategic objectives. So there's this sheet that you hand out each month, which is the monthly action planner, which allows them to record what they're going to do and how does that relate to their overall strategic objectives, which of course will change. So over time they'll be revising their strategic objectives as they understand more about business. There's a feedback form which you should collate, take note of. It tells you how you're presenting, running workshops, but also tells you about the material and offers suggestions for improvement. There's a referral scheme guide, so quite a good way of getting more people onto your workshops is to run this where existing attendees get a reduced fee if they have recommended and got someone else onto the program. So you kind of grow it that way. There's a problem solver and guidelines, which is for the surgery at the start of the workshop. You don't have to use this, but sometimes if you've got a problem which is not pretty obvious how to solve it, this is a useful tool. It really helps people clarify their thinking around symptoms, impact on the business, what the causes might be, and then what the root causes might be. So it's a nice tool to use on thorny problems, and it educates attendees a little bit about how to think about problems. And finally, there's some file lists for your workshop file. So every workshop you run, what do you need in your file, and another one for the members. So when you sign up a new member, what do you put in their file that you give to them before the workshop program starts? Finally, there's a sales pack. So how do you go about getting people onto your workshop program? Clearly, the main part of the marketing and sales process is exactly the same for workshops as it is for one-to-one. So, online marketing, networking, getting people to seminars, getting sales meetings out of the seminars. So that pretty much is exactly the same. You can either kind of run them particularly aimed at people for workshops or one-to-one, or more usually run them and then depends what kind of fish you've got in the net as to whether you think you're going to steer them towards one-to-one coaching or towards group coaching. But in the specific sales pack for the workshops is options and pricing template. Clearly you can charge whatever you like for these, but this gives you some idea about how marketing can be done for it. A contract template, once again, you can charge what you like, use whatever contract you like. Here's the template which will get you started. A prep list. So one of the key things is when we're selling as coaches, you've got them to sign on the dotted line. You need to avoid buyer's remorse. You need to avoid people fretting that they've got into something and changing their mind. So you need to start straight away or as soon as possible with getting them thinking about the benefits and working on their business as part of the workshop program. So this prep list suggests some things they can do to get started. A goals form also along the same lines, but it also helps you. So this is to get them to clarify their thinking about what they're trying to achieve as a result of going on the workshop program. And finally, a reading list. So this is my reading list. You can create your own, feel free, if you haven't read all of these books or you don't like them. But again, it gets people into the way of thinking about stepping out from their business and thinking about how they need to improve it. So how do you go about setting up your program? First, we need to figure out what you're going to charge. How complicated you're going to make that, and this needs to be right for your market. What's right in the UK won't be right, let's say, in South Africa or Canada or Australia. So you need to adjust the contract and pricing templates or create your own. As I said earlier, 4 to 6 workshop clients deliver about the same as a single one-to-one client. Depends if you have workshop options, which they're on, and obviously what you charge for your one-to-one clients. But that would be my experience. So whilst it's scalable and you can run lots of workshops, you can put smaller businesses into them. You need more of them to make the same money. You can offer these different versions such as gold, silver and bronze. So typically bronze would just be the workshop, so they come along to the workshop once a month. Gold might be the workshop plus, let's say, a quarterly one-to-one with you for a couple of hours, and silver is somewhere in the middle. and so you give them options, and you're also able to perhaps upsell and get people onto the one-to-one coaching through that route. But you don't have to. You could just sell a workshop programs on their own. You need to make sure you figure out your the impact on your business plan. Business plan covered in another training session, but clearly if you're going to run workshops, you need somewhere to run them. So you're going to have to pay a venue. You need printing and things. You need to buy folders. Not hugely expensive, but it all adds up. And you need to figure out how many people do I need in my workshops, and what what income am I going to be getting from them. So you need to put that into your business plan alongside your one-to-one coaching. Find a venue and book it up on a rolling basis. So each workshop is a half-day workshop when you look at the surgery and the planning and the workshop in the middle. So you need to allow a half day. It doesn't need to be out. It could be starting early in the morning, a breakfast workshop, or late in the afternoon as an evening workshop. But allow half a day. And generally monthly is enough for the attendees. You don't want to do them more frequently than that, because they won't have time to do anything. If you do them too far apart, well, it impacts your revenue, and also they'll lose momentum. You might be able to get a venue where you can cooperate. So on a business centre, they give you a free room, and you give a deal on the people in their business centre who want to come on the workshop program. So these things are possible. You need to decide which workshops you're going to run for the first 12 months. Ideally, kind of maintain a rolling 12 months of workshops into the future. You can start anywhere and sequence them in any way you like. They are numbered 1 to 30 something, but it doesn't have to go that way. And in fact, my experience is when you're up and running it, you kind of choose the next few workshops based on what you think will really help the people in the room. But in order to market this, you need to be able to say this is the schedule. So you have to define that up front. So if you've got the venue, choose a day of the week and time of day, set the date for the first workshop. I would say a couple of months to market the first workshop. So you're marketing it, as I said, online, through social media, on your website, through networking, all the ways you would be marketing your normal coaching product. And you need to use, well, ideally, people need to be able to see that schedule of workshops. So, you can set up an event marketing website. Now, in practice, not many people will click and pay that way. So it's really just interest, generating interest, so they come to you. In my experience, you have to have a sales meeting with these people to get them to sign up. But you can set up a free event marketing website, and it all adds to the profile of what you're doing. Yeah, so we've covered this. It can fit into your existing marketing, or you can market the two things separately. And sometimes you'll get right to the sort of close of a sales meeting, and it's only in the sales meeting that you're really deciding, even the client's deciding, which they would prefer. I mean, clearly, a one-to-one client is more valuable to you than a workshop client. One marketing option for you is to offer free taster places. You can put those actually on the workshop website, so they can book a free taster place. That works quite well. The point being, they come and take part in the workshop, and then afterwards you arrange a meeting to a sales meeting to try and get them to sign up. Don't have too many free taster places, or the people that are paying will get a bit cheesed off. I suggest you limit it to 1 or at most 2. When you actually come to close a deal, you can do either of these things. You can sell a program of 12 workshops, so they're signing up for a year. You could even try and charge up front, although usually the nature of the people that want to go on a workshop program, they don't want to pay up front, they'd rather pay monthly. But you can get a contract that says 12 workshops, or you can sell just a rolling contract, so that they pay monthly in advance, and when they stop attending the workshops, they stop paying. My recommendation would be to start out by selling the 12-month workshop, and then once you've got enough people in the room, you can start to sell the rolling contract. Again, typically people stay on board for, I would suggest, 18 to 24 months on a rolling contract. And it doesn't give you that cliff edge. If they've got a 12-month contract, which they sign up, that's very nice on month 1 when they've signed for 12 months. But month 11 and 12, you're a little concerned about them dropping off. Whereas if it's a rolling contract, as long as you're providing good quality coaching, there's no real trigger to stop coming. So signing someone up, follow the sales meeting training session. It's a different one of these sessions on how to run a sales meeting. It's exactly the same for workshops. Have your pricing options and agreement forms handy. You want to sign them up in the meeting when they're up for it. You don't want to go away and let them think about it while you prepare the documentation. You require payment ahead of the workshop, so typically what you want is for them to set up a backs payment to you. Send them the upfront documentation of preparation, reading list and goals document. Next thing's quite important. It's not something that everyone would do, but I think it works quite well, is before they actually start the program. So you can do this quite quickly. You don't have to wait for the next scheduled workshop. You can within a week go and once again sort of confirm the value they're getting by giving them a free one-to-one prep meeting. So a couple of hours to review the documentation we just talked about, talk them through the strategic objectives document, and get them to start to think about their goals and prepare this strategic objectives document before the workshops. At this meeting, you can have had their member folder prepared. It was all branded up for them. So, and then with the contents that we've talked about, and hand it to them at the start of the meeting. Again, it kind of sort of seals the deal. They're getting, see some value they're getting. And there's a member file list to say what should go in there. So you've done some selling. You need 2 to 3 clients to start the program. That's just about enough. The thing is, if you have too few people in the room, you don't get the interactions. It's difficult to run the group work, and then sort of do show and tells between the groups. So 2 to 3 is fine to start, and you can run with up to about 12. I mean, it's your call, but when it gets past 12, you're not giving people the attention. It's a little bit more difficult to make sure everyone gets some airtime. I think generally the quality of the experience goes down beyond that. So, between 2 to 12, and ideally I'd say 6 to 8 people is a sweet spot for attendees. So the monthly cycle, once you've got these people signed up, is a week before the workshop, email them a reminder. You'd be surprised. You'd think these people are business people to have it in the diary, but one of the reasons they're your client is because they're disorganized. So email reminder of the date a week before, text reminder the evening before. So both those things will increase your attendance. Then run the workshop. That's a separate training session. At the end of the workshop, you hand out the latest schedule. So don't forget, this is kind of moving on a month every month. You're adding 12 months out, and remind them again of the next date at the end of the workshop. So hopefully they'll put it in their diary. And then after the workshop, you decide what you're going to run 12 months out. Add that to the schedule and reset your marketing. So your event website needs to be updated with the next workshop, and your email marketing or digital marketing, whatever you're doing, that needs to be updated to talk about in the next workshop as well. If you're smart with your marketing, you can make it fairly generic. There's no need to say the next workshop is on developing a USP or leadership. It's just say it's a workshop as a general discussion about the content, so you don't have to keep fiddling about with it every month, which would be very tedious. So before the workshops due to run, get your administrator to print out the lesson plan for you and handouts for the attendees, which is the exercises and the answers and any other handouts that you might want to give from the resource library in Business Coach Kit. There's a presenter file list that says what you should have in your folder when you go to run the thing. You need to rehearse the workshop until you're really confident that you understand the slides and exercises. Obviously, during the workshop, you need to think on your feet. People ask questions that are not particularly, you're not forewarned about. They're not directly necessarily to do with the topic. So, yeah, it's you're on show. You're doing really running a piece of theatre for these people. But as far as possible, rehearse, understand the slides, understand the exercises, make sure you know what's what. Make sure you've got your stories and examples to hand as well. As clients grow, you can move them from the workshop to one-to-one. Particularly if you've got this kind of gold level, which includes a bit of one-to-one coaching as well, so they get used to that, they see the value of it, and you can have the conversation about, would you rather move just straight to this complete one-to-one coaching away from the workshops. Pricing's up to you, but you need to work it out. So if you're doing 2 hours of coaching, let's say every quarter, let's say 3 hours every quarter, that's an hour a month. So what's that costing you? And that should help you drive define the price for your gold version. So, summary. The workshop program is a cost-effective alternative to one-to-one coaching. You market it in much the same way. It's the same target market. You're saying the same things. And sometimes it's quite late in the process that the decision is made about which of these products is right for the prospect. You can sell it as a fixed or rolling program, and you can have as many levels as you like. It's up to you, really. I suggest you run them monthly, and you need between 2 and 12 attendees. So that's the equivalent of sort of half to 2 or maybe 3 one-to-one clients. And if you do a good job, clients can be upsold from workshops to one-to-one coaching. Okay, that's it.